Dr. Swaz Gauri. I am going to talk on BSc 5th semester Physical Chemistry course on elementary quantum mechanics. So in this video, I am going to cover photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is also known as Einstein photoelectric effect because this experiment or this effect is discovered by great scientist Albert Einstein. So what he did, he has taken a particular metal plate and assigned a particular frequency or certain frequency which are help to eject electron from the metal surface. So he observed this phenomena. So the ejected electron and calculate the frequency of the ejected electron. So this electron is also known as a photoelectron. So if you see the definition, what are he given? The ejection of electron from the surface of a metal by radiation is called the photoelectric effect. So, if electron is coming out from the metal due to the radiation, then we call it photoelectric effect. So, if you take the example, so cesium is the easiest metal which can eject the electron from the periodic table. So that's why this is used in photoelectric cell. So, photoelectric cell means due to photon, electrons are getting ejected into the cell. So that's why the cesium metal has been widely used in photoelectric cells. So, based on this, some observation are there of the photoelectric effect. So, first observation. So Einstein assumed that each quantum of radiation h nu is a photon. So each radiation can be considered as a quantum. Quantum means, like in previous video, I have said that quantum means you can consider as a spring, right? So small spring as like wave kind of nature as well as particle. So it is a small packet of energy, like you can say bundle. So this we call it radiation is called h nu. That is a photon. Second statement observation he made that the electron are emitted instantaneously from a given metal plate when it is irradiated with radiation of a frequency mu is equal to or greater than some minimum frequency which is called threshold frequency, right? So to eject this process is simultaneously is going on, like a photon is falling on metal surface and ejection of electron or photoelectron. So this process is going simultaneously. So whenever you irradiate it, so simultaneously, so radiation, suppose radiation frequency is nu, that is always if photoelectron are coming out from the metal surface, then that is this frequency is always equal or greater than the minimum frequency that is called threshold frequency. So you need some particular frequency to eject the electron. All frequency cannot eject electron, so you need threshold frequency. That is nu naught. We denote as a nu naught. So nu is always greater than or equal to nu naught. If you see this statement in terms of energy, then we can say that you require, like if you multiply with h nu, nu 2 into h, that is Planck constant, you will get the energy, corresponding energy. So this threshold frequency, or we can say threshold energy, that is always or equal to the ionization energy of the any metal, right? So third statement is the number of electron emitted is proportional to the intensity of the incident radiation. So incident radiation means whatever, suppose you are putting 10 photon on metal, so you will get only 10 photoelectron, right? So 10 photon, you will get irradiation of 10 photon, so you will get only 10 photoelectron, right? So that this is always directly proportional to the incident radiation. So fourth statement is the kinetic energy of emitted electron depends on the frequency of the incident radiation and not on its intensity. So this is a very important point where means the whatever the electron, photoelectron has some energy, right? That is we call it kinetic energy. So this kinetic energy of electron depends on the frequency of incident radiation and not on intensity. So it is frequency as well as you can say energy. Whatever the energy you are providing, that is kinetic energy only depends on that. So doesn't matter on intensity of the radiation. So you can say like you can visualize in this way. Suppose you have blue color light, you are putting shining on particular metal. So if with blue color light, if you are not getting the particular particular electron, then no matter how many bulbs you are putting using this bulb, blue bulb, you will not get the ejection. So intensity doesn't matter. So you, if you require particular frequency is greater than blue light. So if you put greater than blue light frequency, then you will get the electrons. So this statement you can read. So student can write down this. The explanation of photoelectric effect is completely based on quantum theory. So now we are going to see the process wise how equation is getting derived. So initially what happens? So each energy of each photon being equal to h nu. So coming energy of coming photon energy is h nu, where nu is the frequency of light, and when this photon of light of frequency nu collides with the electron of the metal, the electron acquires energy equal to the energy of photon. So what are the energy which is carried by photon? That energy, if it's collide to the particular electron of the metal atom, so this whatever energy that is acquiring that energy using of the that is energy equal to the energy of photon. So thus the energy of emitted electron is given by, so what this energy can use for h nu, that h nu is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. So because electron is photoelectron is coming out from this metal, so we can so that is energy dissipated to the kinetic energy, and some energy is getting utilized in the form of potential energy. So here potential energy is equal to the ionization energy. So this can consider as the equation number 1, where Ke is the kinetic energy, Pe means potential energy, Ie means ionization energy. So if the incident radiation is of threshold frequency, that is equal to the threshold frequency, the electron will be emitted without any kinetic energy. So where kinetic energy will not be there, so only threshold frequency is there. So your ionization energy is equal to the h nu naught. So h nu naught is represented as threshold energy. So you can take equation number 2. So if you combine this equation 1 and 2, so we have h nu equal to kinetic energy plus h nu naught. This is ionization energy. Now you know the kinetic energy, right? So if you take kinetic energy one side and this you take left hand side h nu naught, so you will get h nu minus h nu naught. So kinetic energy is half mv square, that is equal to h nu minus h nu naught. If you take it out h as a Planck constant get common, so you will get h in bracket nu minus nu naught. That is coming as a equation number 3. So where equation 3 is the Einstein photoelectric equation. So this equation is very important. So student can write down this. Now we are going to see the we are going to plot kinetic energy of the emitted electron versus frequency of the incident radiation. So far we have discussed what is the equation of photoelectric this equation, Einstein photoelectric equation. So we got half mv square equal to h into nu minus nu naught. So here nu naught is the if you plot frequency versus kinetic energy. So here you consider this is y and this is x. So this is variable. So you plot it on x axis and y axis kinetic energy. So if you plot it, you will get this slope will be your slope will be the Planck constant, that is h, and your initial point, that will be the nu naught. So if your kinetic energy is 0, h nu equal to h nu naught. So that's why your new frequency is nu naught. So in this way you will get the negative slope, positive slope. So student can write down this. Now we are going to see Rutherford model of atom. So first we will see the what is the definition. So electron revolve around the nucleus is such a way in a such a way that a Coulombic attraction of the electron by the nucleus is balanced by centrifugal force. So this Coulombic means Coulombic attraction means the force of attraction between oppositely charged particle. So here proton and electrons are two opposite charge. So both are attracted towards each other. So we calculate that is Coulombic. So here this Coulombic attraction force is force equal to K into Q1 into Q2 divided by R square. R is the distance between the two particles, negatively charged, positive and negative charged particle. So this distance here R. So here this is centripetal force. That here we are considering as a Coulombic attraction, and this is balanced by centrifugal force. So this is your centrifugal force mv square mv square divided by R, and this is the Z is the atomic number into charge of electron, and divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is the permeability into R square. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon is the K here, and Q1 Q2, this is Q1, this is Q2, and this is R square. So R square is R is the distance between the two positively charged particle, oppositely charged particle. So in this way we got this Rutherford model of atom. So this is the his kind of statement. So student can write down this. We are going to see the Bohr model of atomic structure. So Bohr has suggested some of the points that we call it a postulate. Postulate means it kind of rules. Like for any game, we have rules, right? So postulate is rules. So what are some assumption we have to make? Then according to that, we have to make the theory. So now. I'm going to first one is first postulate is the electron in an atom can revolve around the nucleus only in certain allowed circular orbits without losing any energy. So we know in atom electrons are revolving. So first postulate it says that so electron revolves around the nucleus only in certain allowed circular orbits. So it remains there. It can don't fall into the nucleus. So, atom is like this. So electron are revolving around the nucleus. So if electrons are there, so one electron it will always revolve in the particular orbits only. So this is the first postulate. Second postulate says that the electron revolve around the nucleus. We call it the stationary state. Exists for the atom when it does not emit radiation and violating the classical electromagnetic theory. So the revolving condition or path we call it stationary state. So that is only exists for the atom when there is no like radiation inside going inside or coming outside from the atom. So only that condition it maintains the stationary state. Third point says that the orbit of electronic motion are circular, well defined, and are such that the angular momentum, that is mvr, of the electron is quantized in units of h by 2 pi. So here it says that with angular momentum mvr, that is quantized, right? So that quantized unit is h by 2 pi, where h is the Planck constant. So if you equate this mvr equal to n into h by 2 2 pi. So here n is the number of orbits, where L is the angular momentum of electron, V is the velocity of electron, and m is the mass of electron. So with this, h by 2 pi can be written as h cross. So here I have mentioned. So n can be any terms like 1, 2, 3. So it's kind of number of orbits. So the fourth point is the electron can jump from one of the allowed orbit to the another. So any electron can jump, right? When it's possible, either radiation is coming into the atom, so from lower energy to higher energy, or higher energy to lower energy. So both jump can happen. So we are going to see the how it's going to jump. So before that, student can write down this. Now we are going to see the fourth point of Bohr model. Here, fourth point is saying that the electron can jump from one of the allowed orbits to the another. So there are two possibilities. One is lower in energy terms, another is higher energy. So when atom radiates, when an electron undergoes transition from one stationary state to another state of lower energy. So if its electron is jumping from higher energy to lower energy, so this you will get the radiation. So atom, whatever atom is there, it will radiate the energy. So second point is there, atom, when atom will absorb, so when an electron undergo transition from one stationary state to another state of higher energy stationary state. So we have two states, like lower energy as well as higher state, energy state. So when, if you want to go from down to above, like lower energy to higher energy, so atom, at that time atom will absorb the energy. When higher energy to lower energy is jumping, like it will go down, so it will radiate the energy. So this two type of transition can happen. So here is the formula, where we know the energy, whenever like in photoelectric effect also we have seen, whenever transition happens, we will see the photon always have energy h nu. So whatever the radiation comings, we consider that it's coming as a particular frequency. So it is coming from the difference between the two energy states. So h nu equal to delta E, that is E equal to EF. E is energy of final minus energy of initial. So if we subtract this, so we will get the corresponding frequency. So this energy final, that is associated with the principal quantum number Nf. So and E initial energy is associated with the principal quantum number Ni. So we have two like different principal quantum number. So based on that, so you will get the energy between these two states will be you will get as a in terms of frequency. So this equation is known as the Bohr frequency condition. So this is the condition. So here how we can calculate the energy. So here is the formula, En equal to minus, this you should remember, minus is important, minus Me into mass of electron into e to the power 4, that is a charge, divided by a epsilon naught whole square h square into 1 by n square. So here n is the principal quantum number, and e naught is the permeability, right? And E is the charge of the electron. So if you do this, like delta, if you want to calculate the difference, so here because of this minus sign, so n1 is coming this side and n2 is going this side. So your here n2 is greater than n1, so but it is going that side because of this minus sign. So because you have minus, right, final energy minus initial energy, so this is the coming as a Bohr frequency condition. So if you subtract this, so you will get the h nu. So from h nu you will get the frequency. So that's how we are going to calculate from this equation. So student can write down this. Now we are going to see the spectral series for the hydrogen atom. Uh, from the previous equation, that is Bohr frequency, we are going to calculate the in terms of what is the equation in terms of wave number. So that is nu bar that is equal to me into e to the power 4 divided by 8 epsilon naught whole square into h cube and c. That is that multiply with in bracket 1 by n1 square minus n2 1 by n2 square bracket close. So this equation coming from the same. So remaining all are the constant, where m is the mass of electron, e is the charge of electron, epsilon naught is the permittivity in the vacuum, h is the Planck constant, c is the speed of light. So all these constant can be considered as can be written as RH. So RH is a Rydberg constant. So it has particular value. So that value is 109,737 centimeter inverse. So that this value is written in the centimeter inverse. If in atom, in hydrogen atom, suppose electron excited to n equal to ns state, and it's getting relaxed to the n equal to 1 state, then we call it a Lyman series. So this the Lyman series occurs when the electron that are excited to higher level relax to the n equal to 1 state. If energy is getting relaxed, or electron is getting relaxed from n equal to ns state to the n equal to 2 state, then we call it a Balmer series. This radiations, or what is the emission of comes in the UV visible region. If n equal to, it's getting relaxed to n equal to 3, relaxed to the n equal to 3 state, then we call it Pascal series. These two series are coming as an IR state. If n equal to 4, getting relaxed n equal to 4 state, so then we call it bracket series. So like this you can remember. So first one is UV, second one is visible range, and below to the Pascal and bracket series are in IR state, IR region. Now we are going to see the radius of stationary orbits. So far we have seen that what are the transition are occurring between two energy difference level. Now here we are going to see the for what will be the radius for the stationary orbits. So in a previous Rutherford model, we have seen that like Coulombic charge is equal getting balanced with the centrifugal force, and in Bohr model we have seen MVR equal to NH by 4 pi. So that if two equations are getting mixed together or combined together, so you will get this equation. So here R is the radius, that is R equal to m square h square in bracket 4 pi epsilon naught bracket close divided by 4 pi square m e z into e to the power 2. So if you take out L square and Z from that equation, and remaining constant you can consider as a naught. So this a naught, if you have taken this h square by 4 pi square, that can be written as a h bar square, that is a reduced Planck constant. This equation you will get. So this a naught is the we can say is a Bohr radius. So from this it has a particular fixed value, but it is only used for the stationary orbits. So student can note down this. Now we are going to see the what are the defects of the Bohr model. So first defect was Bohr model only accounts for the spectral lines for the hydrogenic species. So hydrogenic species means which atom has only one electron. So what are those atoms? So like hydrogen or helium plus or lithium 2 plus ion. So these ions have only one electron. So this Bohr model only applicable for which has only one electron. So second shortcomings was Bohr theory provides no explanation for the relative intensity of the various spectral lines. So which has like there is no explanation like why are those getting like about the relative why are there is a difference between relative intensity or difference So third point was no explanation for the splitting of spectral lines into many lines in the presence of magnetic field. We call it as Zeeman effect, and an electric field, which is Stark effect. So, so what are the radiation comings? That is, if you change the magnetic field or electric field around that field nucleus, so you will, the splitting is, we are getting splitting. So for in this Bohr model, there is no explanation for the splitting. So fourth point was the in Bohr theory, there is no place for the wave character of electrons. So this Bohr theory is completely like only for the particle character. So electron is there, we are considering is a particle character. So fifth point is from Heisenberg uncertainty principle that we are going to cover in upcoming lectures. So here, which said that it is impossible to evaluate the precise position and momentum of electron simultaneously. So this principle, uncertainty principle, uh, it is was not applicable for that Bohr's model. So this total five a- total five defects were observed in this model. So student can write down this. So now we are going to stop here. Uh, Thank you for watching. See you in next lecture. Till then, happy learning.